Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News to get top stories in crypto. And I'm bringing out a bite-sized pieces today. Just as the thumbnail suggests, and that was a pretty good thumbnail. Nick Bullish. And what I'm going to talk to you about is first we have to take a look at a little interview. And it was the MicroStrategy and Coinbase institutional interview that just came out a couple of days ago. And we're going to talk about institutional adoption insight and how it plays into other institutions as far as what is going on. And that leads me to the Nick Bullish title and thumbnail. And it's just a thought exercise, see what could potentially happen. We already know that McDonald's is taking crypto in El Salvador, but there's a bigger question at large. And lastly, we're going to take a look at how the MELD platform went from 100 million in staking to 200 million people staking their MELD tokens in under 48 hours. So we'll take a look at all those things. And last, we'll finish up with a little bit of Q&A. So just so you know, before we get going, do a little market recap and see what's going on. If you are here watching the replay, this is live right now. But if you're watching the replay, just know that there's timestamps underneath. So if you want to just fast forward or go back and forth, do whatever you want to. I'm trying to help you out with your time. And then also just know that the news itself only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. And then the Q&A could take another 20 minutes. So that's why these videos look a bit longer, when in actuality, the news is actually very condensed and short. So let's jump into what the heck is going on. Then also, lastly, before I forget, hold all your questions till the end. That's because when you do the questions beforehand, a lot of great questions get missed. So just hold the questions until the end. If you would do so, that would be great. So let's take a look at what is going on with the market. And today's Saturday, it's the 5th. Yeah, 5th of February. It's a cold day here in Puerto Rico. We did dip below 80 degrees. And actually, we almost went into 69-degree territory. But don't worry, it's okay. I was still able to swim in my pool this morning, so we're all right. Anyhow, so the victories today are the market. And we're looking at a market cap. I think we touched 2 trillion at one point, but then we came back down. But it's been a miraculous, marvelous run. And we'll take the small victories. No, we're not at all-time highs. No, we're not going to go like there in a second or in a day or in a week. But hey, this is a long time coming. We've been getting our teeth kicked in for a while, so I'll take it. Bitcoin went up almost 12%. Well, actually 10% in 24 hours. And over the week, 9.6. Everything just happened yesterday. Ethereum blasting above 3,000. But remember, Bitcoin's all-time high was 69K. And Ethereum was, I know it's over maybe 4,500. So this is pretty far off from that. But again, take the small victories. I'm happy. I'm really happy. Tether, Binance Coin is up to 12%. Everything's, let's see, anything down? Usually you'll see stable coins go down a little bit as people start to FOMO in. The market rises up, which is not a bad play, in all honesty. What's the big winner? 14% for Terra. That's pretty good. 19% for Near. Man, I'm glad I picked some of that up. 12% for Bitcoin Cash. Go figure. Uniswap, 12%. 10% in a computer. Dang. The Sandbox and Axie Infinity, almost 20%. Good job. Theta, 18%. These metaverse plays are looking pretty tasty, just letting you know. 12% for Harmony, 12% for Flow, Bitcoin SV, 15% for Engine Coin, another metaverse or gaming play, and Gala Games, the darling of today, 41% in 24 hours. I think it got listed on Voyager and a couple of different places. I've been dollar cost averaging in Gala for a while. I think it's going to be big. I like the platform. I like games. So we'll see how that works out. So that's what we have there. And just so you know, to take a look at the traditional side, it was a great day yesterday for traditional players. I mean, they got, in one day, up 0.5%. Watch out. That's a lot better than what it's been doing. But over 5 days, not too bad. 1 month, 6 months, still okay. So we'll take it. And then NASDAQ went up and then kind of slid down as people took profits. Because look, what goes up must come down. So if you're going to take profits, do that. And we were talking yesterday on the DCA show, me, James, and Ben, and the term short squeeze came up. And I was like, I wonder how many people got liquidated for the shorts. And when I took a look at, you can find this on coinglass.com. It used to be called Bybit. Now it's CoinGlass. And when we take a look here, not that many. Really. There was 24-hour wrecked 251 million. What does that mean? Well, if you look, I don't care about this stuff. If you look over here, everything are the people who got liquidated. And the red are the shorts and the green are the longs. This one goes all the way back to November. Now, just look at that for a second. Just marvel at that. What can you see as far as who's getting liquidated the majority of the time? Red is the shorts, green are the longs. To me, I got to tell you something, just between us. When I'm looking at this, I think to myself, man, if you had a bunch of short positions, true, you could have gotten liquidated. And, over the last 24 hours, I mean, that's exactly what happened. You had, 225 million in shorts plus 63, roughly in those two categories. But over time, look how much people get liquidated in shorts. In all honesty, I think it's the exuberant ones, the ones that have a lot of, how do I say this correctly? A lot of faith in crypto are the ones that get crushed sometimes. And you can see it that people who go along, those are the FOMO people, like, it's never coming down. That's why it's just a little bit better just to sit back and take it and just go, you know what, maybe things aren't always going to go up. So I know, like, I always talk about positions and leverage plays, and I get ticked off and things like that. But in all honesty, for some people, it works out great. I've tweeted about this before where I said, you leverage plays and all this thing. Those people are laughing at me going, Rob, it worked out pretty great. I went short for quite some time and I'm loaded. So anyhow, good for you. And, of course, if you get liquidated right now, it is what it is. But that's just one of those things where I bet you if you went short for quite some time, you're probably still massively up. That's how it is. All right. So that's what we got in those situations. Let's move on to some good stuff. This was a shout out to Big E for helping me out, Nardo, with this. He sent this to me over Twitter, and it was a pretty good look at Michael Saylor. He looks just intensely pissed off on this picture. But it says here, or it was about a 25-minute interview, and there was two sections that really caught my attention. I want to bring these to you. They're about a minute long. One's a minute, one's 30 seconds. And the first thing they talk about, which will lead me to the next piece, which is the McBullish part. Two things. One is, this is Michael Saylor, and he's talking to Brett Tapal, nailed it, head of institutional investment over at Coinbase. And he talks about two things initially. One is the number of institutions that are coming in, and pay close attention to who he's talking about that is here for institutions and the uptick in institutions, not hedge funds. Hedge funds are just Wall Street guys who want to make a boatload of money, and they're in and they're out. They make a boatload of money towards the end of the year and they sell off like, look, we're geniuses. But institutions that I hopefully are here for quite some time, pensions, those type of things. And then the next part, he's going to talk about how companies, how fast they're now selling their crypto as they get it for payment. So I'm going to make sure this sounds good by stopping the screen. I'm going to share the tab itself so you can actually hear the audio. And I'm going to mute myself so there's no feedback. So just listen to this first. It's about a minute or so, and listen to the amount of institutions that are coming in.
Also, I've talked about Grayscale. So Grayscale is like, the world's largest digital asset manager. We've made reference to Tudor and Third Point. Those are two leading, hedge funds. We've talked about what I'll call like traditional asset managers like PIMCO and Wisdom Tree, One River, another name. We've talked about large challenger banks and traditional banks, partnership with PNC as an example. We've talked about partnerships with SpaceX and Tesla. And of course, we have a wide swath of family offices and private banks and pensions. I know you're always keen to sort of highlight public companies. Metu is a Chinese consumer tech company, and they actually we helped them buy Bitcoin and ETH on their balance sheet. And then I'd say, Michael, there's this.
So yeah, listen to that. That's interesting, right? Look, you just heard a bunch of different companies that were just laid out there by Brett. That's, if you're looking for institutional involvement, go to the guys who actually onboard the institutions. And that's that guy right there. for Coinbase. And also, he was the same one that onboarded Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy as they made those massive purchases behind the scenes. Now, there is one caveat to this, and that is that as these big institutions are making these buys, they're not buying like you and me. They're buying at structured times using automated systems, and they're buying small pieces along the way so they don't raise the price up too much. Like, let's say I'm a billionaire. Newsflash, I'm not. But if I was a billionaire and I want to do it, that's how I would do it. But the bad ways of, not the bad ways, but other ways people do is just start buying Bitcoin on different exchanges, not even OTC. That moves the price. But for these types of plays, it doesn't move the price that much initially. But remember, as these institutions, like they just talked about, this Chinese wealth fund or Chinese tech company, you had a bunch of family offices, banks, small, medium banks that he just talked about. Also talked about pensions, pension funds, retirements. As they start to buy along the way, which that's great, then all of a sudden you have a lot of people who are just holding on, and that is where price appreciation comes from. So there's that piece, and then we're going to get into the McBullish section right now. So the next piece he's going to talk about is the amount of institutions that accept payments in cryptocurrency, how initially, as soon as they got that crypto like that, they were selling it for fiat cash. Now, not so much. So take a listen to this. Let me mute myself.
It may start with them saying, well, we might accept payments, but we just want to instantly convert them, back into cash. But I've noticed over time that with the comfort of and having a little bit of risk appetite, they're not instantaneously selling all their crypto. So it's good to see.
We like that.
Yep.
So what's the typical customer journey?
Michael Saylor, we like that. Yeah, we all like that, right? So this leads me to the next point. Because when I heard that today, I didn't really think too much of it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good that they're holding on to it for a little bit longer. But then it comes down to something bigger. And this is, we all know, or most of us know, that McDonald's is accepting Bitcoin in El Salvador only. That's fine, right? They're using the Chivo wallet. And they're going to upgrade that, apparently, because I guess there's a lot of problems with that. This was in September 2021. And of course, Bitcoin has been fluctuating wildly. But a multi-billion-dollar global company like McDonald's, who is really good, let's just be honest, with their finances and spreadsheets, and probably finding out the best locations to put McDonald's and also the best opportunities, might have a say in that and start to look at this and go, you know what? In these FOMO markets, it's probably a good idea to transfer things over. But when we start to see like this big lull in the price, like we just saw, and things are choppy, maybe it's not so bad to hold on to it for a little bit. And then maybe we can hire some people who could actually talk to us about maybe the appropriate time to convert this crypto into dollars, if we so seem to. And I thought it was interesting on that part. But then there was this thing that came out. I thought this was funny. First of all, that's the official McDonald's account with 4.4 million followers. Hilarious. And they were starting to, because they got mentioned so much because we always talk about like, hey, if things aren't working out, then I'm just going to go work at McDonald's. So of course McDonald's takes attention to that, like, and they've done some different promos, which is actually pretty funny. And then someone tweeted out, Matthew Hyland says, hey, shout out to McDonald's for potentially marking the Bitcoin bottom. As on January 21st, they said, hey, how are you doing, people who run crypto Twitter accounts? Because they want to know, because everybody was in max pain at this point. And they come out and said, hey, shout out to McDonald's. They said, this all worked out, or this is it, because I said, log me, or we're all going to make it. So I'm thinking to myself, if the Twitter account follows things along, how much do you think that the corporate account doesn't take a look at this and go, you know what, there might be something to this this crypto? Only if not so much as far as like moving things around and transferring things, but just in the marketing aspect. And of course, if McDonald's gets into it, how far away are we from a little bit more mass adoption? There's a McDonald's in every corner. Not that you should eat it. I mean, it's delicious, but it's awful for you as far as as far as like health wise. But I just thought it was interesting how we had head of institutional development here. Oh shoot, sorry, I didn't show you the screen. That's my fault. It's kind of important if you see this. Let me recap that real quick. My apologies. So McDonald's takes Bitcoin. This was the date. Here was the tweet. How you doing? Who runs crypto Twitter? January 24th. Kidding the model. The bottom, and that's the official McDonald's account. 4.4 million followers. I just think it's funny, and I think it's like I said again, potentially this could be a pretty good opportunity for Bitcoin to look at their balance sheet and go, "Wow, we got all this. We got a little bit of Bitcoin from El Salvador. What if we roll this out to other countries? And what if we just held on to it for a little bit?" So all the sales that we do, we don't have to do anything else. We don't have to sell more. We don't have to hire more people. We don't have to add in more employees. All they do is just hold on to this for a little bit, and it goes up by 20%. That's a huge margin. So I'm interested about that in the comments section. Let's move on to our last piece, Meld. So Meld, it is a protocol that I've covered, and just so everybody's clear, I'm super biased. The things that I talk about on this channel are all the things that I own. So I do have skin in the game, but I talk about these things because I think they're going to do pretty well. And what we got is we did a video, me and Ken, CEO of Meld, 7 months ago. And he was talking about these crazy ideas about doing a stake pool offering and then doing these loans, which because they would do the farming and do the yield process, that you'd only have to pay back the interest and not the principal, which is crazy to think about. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And then I'll delegate some of that to your stake pool offering. Well, then they did everything, did it correctly. Airdrop came out. It was flawless. Everybody got their tokens in 4 hours. Then they started to offer the opportunity to stake their Meld in their app. And they went from 100 million in 3 days to 200 million in 5 days. So let me do some quick math. 48 hours, they gained 100 million Meld tokens. That's pretty good. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. So if you just go to meld.com, this is what I did. And I wanted to do a video about how to stake, but I couldn't do it. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. You go to meld.com, and if you click on this thing called app in the upper right-hand corner, it'll take you here. And you can link your wallet. And right now it only uses NAMI, but it's going to go to Ethernet wallet at some point. But here's the terms. I thought this was pretty cool. Or not. No. Let me refresh this. Doesn't seem to want to come up. Well, anyhow, you could stake it for 6 months. Thank you. You could stake it for 6 months, or and get 12%, or stake it for 12 months and receive 15% plus a bonus at the end. And I was going to show this how to be done. Unfortunately, I had to update my Daedalus wallet, which takes forever to do. And so I'll do a separate video later and show us how it's done. But there is one thing that concerned me, and that's the Meld tokens that I got. Maybe you can help. Maybe you guys can help me about this one. Because the Meld tokens that I got, my Daedalus wallet, everything that is a native token is 6 decimal places. So for that one, it may look like billions, but of course it's not billions. It's hundreds of thousands or thousands. And then when I transferred from Daedalus to NAMI, it reverted back to less than 6 decimal places. I don't know how that is supposed to work correctly, because I transferred 100 Meld and I only have 0.0001. Makes no sense to me. Anyhow, I'll do a separate video, but you can also watch our video, which I linked in the description, about how Meld works and all that good stuff. And that's it for today. So look, it's raining pretty hard, which means here in Puerto Rico, I'll probably lose internet service pretty soon. But before I do, let's do a little Q&A so we can, I I can answer your questions. So right now is the time to ask me some questions. All right. Oh, and lastly, of course, this is the end of the news. So if you're like, hey, thanks, Rob, I'm out of here, that's fine. The news is over. Now we're on to the Q&A. So thanks for stopping by. For everybody who's taken off. You got stuff to do, it's fine. All right. Any thoughts on Crow? Again, I'm super biased. I don't use crypto.com, nor do I have anything vested in the token itself. I will tell you, they got a ton of money because they were able to buy the Staples Center, or what was the Staples Center. Now it's crypto.com Center, I suppose. So they're probably doing something right. But it's just one more example of how crypto's taking over. And there's so much money in it right now that I find when people say, the government's not going to ban it. They're not going to ban it. There's too much money. They're going to tax the living tar out of it. That's what they're going to do. Come on. Really? Are you on the VIP? This is a good question. Are you on the VIP list of the Voyager debit card? No, I'm not. And I hate, if I have a problem with Voyager, I hate reaching out to any of my contacts because you don't get that opportunity. So why should I get that opportunity? So no, I'm not on the Voyager debit card. See, starting to go already. My internet connection. Hello from Liechtenstein. Ada, what's the thoughts? Ada's great. I love Ada. I like the process. They've got their problems, but who's perfect? Who's perfect? I'm waiting for Hydra and their 1 million transactions per second to come out in Q3. Then we'll see what's happening. Even agree with me on that one. Now, instead of taking days, at least it's taking minutes to actually process your transactions. Some people are still having the problems, but I think it's a step in the right direction. I like where we're going. Rob, what about Theta? What about Theta? Well, I talked about in the very beginning. It had a good jump from yesterday. It's another metaverse play. I think it's great. I mean, heck, if you got somebody one of the co-creators of YouTube, Dave Chen, and he's backing, or is one of the big advisors over there at Theta, on top of the fact that the validators are Google and FAA, I mean, probably one to watch. I still hold my Theta. I should have sold it all when it was at the all-time highs, but just got too greedy. Thoughts on ICP? Insane Clown Posse? No, I'm just kidding. Internet Computer Protocol. I think it's a project that's way ahead of its time. And if you're going to get into it now, expect it to be a 5-year play. Frozen. Check out Starlink. Get that. That's costly. Starlink's costly. And then there's a lot of different things that are going on. I mean, some people love it, but I know some people have returned it because just either because of cost or spottiness, whatever else. I'm rooting for it. Hope it works out. A lot of people could use that connection, but in remote places with people don't have a lot of money, that's not the answer. This is good. It's a funny name. Robert, what do you think about Cardano? Don't you think Charles Hoskinson shouldn't talk that much on streams? Look, I love it when Charles is on. I mean, not all the time. I don't watch them all, but I like somebody to come out there and be passionate about the project. Does he say things that may get him in trouble? Sure. But you know what? To get something moving, to get a company moving, you need a figurehead. And even if Charles Hoskinson was fired tomorrow and had to step down, Cardano would still go on without him. No problems. It's just that there is a big aspect of that for the community. Again, some people love him. Some people absolutely despise him. I find him entertaining. And that's it. I mean, there's a fine line, though. You're true. What else do you got? 1 million TPS. That's what they said. Hey, Hydra, 1 million TPS, Q3. Who knows? No, and here's the thing. Nobody knows. Nobody's like, you know what? This is happening on this day. Perfectly. No problems whatsoever. We're going to be set. Ask Vitalik Buterin. because that ETH 2.0, which they don't even call it, I don't even know what they call it now. That's not going to happen for a while. Thoughts on Gala? Great question. So, Luis, Gala is a project that I have been dollar cost averaging into. I've stopped for a while because when we had the big enormous drop, I think I stopped for a week and I picked it up again. Gala I like because, well, they got a strong team. They're doing pretty well with the games that they're offering, and they've already have history into it. So they've got like this collage of games they're going to offer on blockchain technology. So I like where they're going with it. Will it pan out? Who knows? I like those guys. I like cornucopias. I like Chain Guardians. Big Time's going to be huge. And then that game on Solana, what's it called? Star Atlas. I mean, if they can pull off what they've shown us, that's going to be ginormous. Air Luna, where's the iguanas at? I don't know. One took a dip in my pool and I had to bail his scaly hide out because he couldn't get out. Gotta love Puerto Rico. Let's see. Internet in Puerto Rico, buddy. I gotta be honest with you. Besides the occasional power outages, the internet's pretty good here. I mean, in El Paso, I had to run a direct line into my computer to get internet service. Here, this is all Wi-Fi. So, let's see. What do you think of ICX? I don't know what it is. BGX price. Oh, let's do a price prediction. So let me Voyager. But that's not it. God, I hope not. Voyager token. $2, that's pretty good, 5%. So my price prediction, 2022, Voyager will be between the price of $2 even and $2.25 within 2022. I would drop this mic, but it's held up. So yeah, there you go. There's my price prediction. Chainlink thoughts. Chainlink will go up considerably. I don't understand why Chainlink doesn't do well. It's like one of those projects that everybody needs. You know, let's be honest. It's if you want to pull in outside data onto the blockchain, how are you going to do that? Chainlink. So many questions. What stocks do you see in? Tesla, Mara, and I bought Amazon a while ago. I don't dollar cost average in that. And the only reason I got it, I only get into things that I know about or the companies that I like. I follow them, and I think that's a pretty good rule for crypto. I only get into the crypto tokens that and coins that I actually follow and keep up with. I learned my lesson on Zero, idiot. Zero token, as they transferred over to Relay, I wasn't following them and I missed the token swap. About $10,000 gone because of me. So it's a good lesson. Just make sure you follow it. So Amazon I got into when I started my Amazon, our Amazon business. And I just kind of bought a bunch and stopped. That was it. But yeah, Tesla, I still dollar cost average in that. I think it's going to be big. And Mara. Thoughts on Matic, Polygon will be huge. They've been and then Polygon Studios is going to really bring in a lot of utility into the whole sector. So I can see it being very good. Chainlink, centralized data. Well, you got to bring it in somehow. I don't know if it's that centralized, but we'll see. Everybody talks about that. This is centralized and that's centralized. Is it really? Is it? And then even for the nodes that are out there, well, who owns those nodes? Who are the people? Because there's like, remember EOS? Remember EOS? 24 blockchain producers or something like that. That's decentralized. Do you know if Texas has capital gains tax? They should. That's a federal thing. But state tax is a little bit different. There's no state tax, but you're going to have to pay federal capital gains tax. Consult with your CPA, consult with your accountant, because I am not one of those. Oh, speaking of which, we're going to have crypto CPA Shihan Chandrasekhar on next week. So get in your questions via Twitter. Oh, man. Yeah, bottom. That's a good point. Rob, use your Daedalus wallet seed phrase and recover it in NAMI. Then Meld will show up. Somebody did a very good video on that. And that's what I'm going to do to speed things up. But be careful with those seed phrases. Those are like gold, because that's essentially what contains your crypto. It's Chewy and Chloe. This is a good question. And this will be the last one. I got to get out of here. Does the IRS really care about gains less than 5,000? Asking for a friend. Well, if you lose it on a boating accident, no. No, I'm just kidding. So I will just say pay your taxes because, I mean, come on. America needs money. They need your money because they kept printing way too much of it. And now they got to pull all that money back. Unless MMT actually comes to light, modern monetary theory, and is correct, and we can print to oblivion. I don't know. But that's what we got. All right, everybody. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I'm going to put 2 more videos right here. Probably the Meld, because there were some questions about Meld. And then probably a link to DCA yesterday over on Bed's channel. So that's it. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.